thought you were starting with a statement. Just in terms
Yeah,
of...
it was, let me say that. Thanks, thank you. I just want to say, it's the only thing I need to say is our bench was unbelievable. Garrison, Aaron, Sadiq, AJ, those guys were terrific. And I think they raised the level of competitiveness in the game, and everybody followed.
On the defensive side, in that third quarter, you held them to like 25 points. Just what changed coming out of halftime?
But I think the way that we began defensive possessions, we sometimes it doesn't, showing transition defense clips sometimes it could be, it's productive, but it's sometimes difficult to analyze assign responsibility. In this case, it began with us just not running back fast enough, backpedaling, getting back slower, and there's some situations where that's harder. But when they score, at some point it has to click in that they're running, and it's not enough to just run back. You have to communicate. And I thought the third quarter, and our starters as well, they started the quarter that way, and then our bench, continued it. But I was glad to see our guys respond, because it's not just urgency, it's communication. And sometimes, you have to feel urgent in order to communicate. And we got both those things. And then, when you're not doing that and a team doesn't feel you, it's amazing how many shots they hit. So all of a sudden, that energy, kind of carries itself through a possession. And I thought that's what happened. We just defended better. There was less breakdowns, but it started with transition.
And then I know in that third quarter after the ejection, I think the game was tied. Just how do you feel like your team stayed locked in and responded to that as well?
Yeah, I think that's, what I was referring to with our bench, shortly thereafter that. And Aaron, it's great to be a player in the NBA, and they're the best players in the world. But it's also, no matter how good you are, if you're not playing, people don't take solace and just, hey, I'm in the league. That's not the way you make it in this league. And Aaron's someone that every day, works. He does it. He does it in a way, the way that he conducts himself. He's a pro, and for someone that isn't playing every night, to be able to lead without being on the floor, and then to be as ready to play when those opportunities present themselves. He did the same thing in Minnesota. DJ was out in this case. Trey was out, obviously, but I just have unbelievable respect for that. And no one should take that for granted. Nobody in here, for sure nobody in that locker room. That's a unique player, and I feel those are the kind of guys you feel grateful to have an opportunity to coach. Not that I like coaching all our guys, but when you see that, it needs to be recognized, and that's a special young man, and what he did tonight, you just can't help but respect.
Another guy that I feel like we see a lot of intensity from is Garrison Matthews.
Yeah.
You touched on him already in the opening statement, but it feels like he attacks every single possession with 110% of his energy, and he seems to take it hard when he doesn't meet his expectations on the defensive end. I'm curious what you've seen from his approach to the game.
No, there was, trying to think, I think where we were. He asked, Coach, how can I play more? How can I get on the court? And I couldn't give him a great answer, because there really isn't one. You have to keep working, and sometimes it's just circumstance, where guys get an opportunity, and same thing as Aaron. You appreciate those opportunities, and it's one of the reasons I think he is so hard on himself. That he's working and working and working, and he does get his opportunity, he wants to take advantage of it. But it's he knows what he can do on the offensive end as far as shooting the ball, and clearly he's a weapon in that regard. But to your point, the things that he does, whether it's a block out or making a stand, taking a charge, some of those things that he's tough. He's just tough, and you can always use tough players.
Quinn, on your right, What was your view of Trey's selection, and have you had a chance to talk to him at all?
Yeah, I spoke to him before I came in here. That's why I was late. You know, it's just a play that he can't make, and I told him that, and he knows it and owns it, and you know, for a lot of reasons. You know, the frustration can't get to that point. When it does, that can't be a response, and it's something that those things. He's not the only one that's lost his cool, but certainly we're not talking about everybody else right now. We're talking about Trey, and he's too good a player. We need him, and it's hard to play when you're in that space mentally, and we'll get there. You know, like I said, it wasn't like a single part of him that was trying to rationalize what happened.
Hi, Coach.
Hey.
Just talk about John Collins and his play tonight, because it looks like he was pivotal with giving you some points there, especially early. And also, back-to-back with Memphis coming in, just kind of give us a quick preview.
Well, with JC, there's a couple games ago, he can tell you. I don't know, I'm trying to think the game it was. They run together a little bit for me at times. I know tomorrow's game. I took him out late in the game. Not too late, maybe 4 minutes left, and because Sadiq was playing well, and it happened the game before, I think in Miami, where we played a matchup, or a couple games before, and he was mad, and I told him that's okay, like those aren't easy decisions for a coach, and it's okay to be angry, and it's okay to want to win, and that's how I interpreted that, and I put him back in. And he got 2 huge rebounds. So he didn't come out tonight. He stayed in, but he made a similar type of play. I know his buckets were good. He finished, but the play that comes to mind is when he came from the weak side and blocked that shot and grabbed the rebound. Those are winning plays, and we just need more of those from everybody. We have a tendency to identify ourselves with what happens on the offensive end. Not a tendency, we do, and we need to. This identity of the team, you don't have to be a great defensive team. You just have to care. And that's what we need. And we saw that tonight. And you're not going to get, this league is going crazy offensively. It's hard to defend in this league, but we got to get back and make it harder on the other team and easier on ourselves. And that's something I think, John's been, really, really good as far as, recognizing situations where he can be better. And I mentioned that time, to you specifically because I think it's emblematic of the kid. He wants to win, and he's willing to do the things that it takes to win. And sometimes that's scoring. Sometimes it's as simple as being in a stance and talking. And that's what we need.
The preview tomorrow night.
The preview tomorrow. Can I watch the film first?
Okay.
How about there? When I see Memphis, I'll be honest with you. The thing that I think about first is Taylor Jenkins, because Taylor was like a really important part of my, not just my coaching life, but my personal life. And we spent time in Austin together, where we were practicing at the Zaragoza Rec Center. We painted the walls of the rec center, watched film in the lounge. He and I killed him, Nick, asking him to meet me at coffee shops at all hours. And, I just have not only great respect for him, but, he's been a terrific friend to me. And that's what he's in a position, I don't get to feel like proud of him, I just respect him. But there is, if I'll be honest with myself, there's that moment where I hope he'll allow me to feel proud of what he's done, because he's one of the best coaches in the league. And when I see Memphis, I immediately identify with him. Happen to be a pretty good team too. So we got to be ready. Okay? More.